God knew gods and goddesses, kings and queens. God knew was God and you, the Knobs, green family, allies, and enemies was heading. It's a double, right? Look, also checking me out on Intellectuals EOT. It's another YouTube site. Going straight to the information. Also, I finally got an Instagram. That's it on the Instagram because people been asking me. But same thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through this real quick, and this is like race in the United States and where we at with race in the United States, and this stuff has started to happen faster than I thought. Like I was gonna do videos on like more black people going into voodoo and what that's going to do spiritually, how to spiritually that's going to change the dynamics of the United States. That is, and really, then that's when you go start to see that whole freedom of religion is gonna be out of there. You go start. It's actually really already started. It's just a lot of it not hitting the news. It ain't big, so it ain't trending. But so let me go into this real quick. I'm gonna start right here. John Henry Folk. See, these are white people that you don't hear about, and these are whites that would be true heroes. So when you start looking up heroes in the white race, you really don't find, let me put that up a little bit, you really don't find too many heroes that wasn't murderers, because the white race don't exalt these type of people. These type of people they're called liberals, and they don't like the liberals, and you trying to basically get a power and you trying to share. So they don't like sharing. And now if my daughter was here, she'd say, you can't say that because I'm not all white people. Well, it don't matter if whether it's all white people or enough. It's enough for things of this nature to be happening. And for me to be able to say white people and then generalize a statement, I don't need to say all white people to try to say it's all. So I'm not the type that's going to sit here and be like, well, all white people or not all white people or all black people or not all black people. The police don't say not all black people are criminals. You never hear them say that. You feel me? But you did hear them section themselves off from the rest of the United States, the population they supposed to be protecting, and say blue lives matter. You feel me? They didn't say all lives matter. And matter of fact, the all lives matter argument is only in protest of Black Lives Matter and not Blue Lives Matter. But that's a whole nother argument. I mean, a whole nother video. Because if you notice, before the Black Lives Matter, it was gay is the new black. Then here come Black Lives Matter. And then Black Lives Matter is a gay movement. But we're going to get on that later. But let me play this.
And Falk was going on about how he believed in giving blacks the right to go to school, giving them the right to vote, giving them the right to go into anything they qualified for. And then he said he experienced an epiphany.
The epiphany. Here's the epiphany.
Ronald Reagan told me this old black man. And
now I'm going to stop it right there. This old black man. And when you look at that black man right there, that black man look like a Native American, don't he? Honey, you thinking, no, that's an Indian. Well, that goes into the arguments that you hear brothers talk about. And some of the brothers say, no, we're Native Americans, we've been here first. And then you hear brothers say, no, we're Hebrew Israelites, we came over here on both. And you hear brothers say, no, we're Africans. None of them is wrong, all of them is right. I don't know why people think like white people was the first ones with boats. When we understand that the Europeans got their boats during the time of war with Hannibal, how they got a conquered ship and they reverse engineered and learned how to make ships basically from Hannibal. So the Africans was circumnavigating the world first. So the Africans was the first ones going to the new world. So you got to get your story straight and understand history. But let's keep going.
tell him what a different kind of white man I was. I remember him looking at me very sadly and kind of sweetly. And
he said, what a different kind of white man you are. Now, and I don't know if white people know that this has happened amongst other races. When you find a white person that is genuine, that is true, and that'll tell you the truth, and that'll be fair, you look at that mother. I'm talking about this happened today when racism's supposed to be over. Like, damn, you keeping it real. Like, you feel me? And those are the white people that's actually keeping all other white people on the face of the planet.
Understanding and say, you know, you still got the disease, honey. I know you think you're cured, but you're not cured. You can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm born with that right. Now, you can keep me from having that. If you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side, you can deprive me of it.
Stop. He said, you can't give me the right. He said, I know you think you're cured, but you're not cured. So he pretty much basically saying, he looked at him and said, you're a different kind of white man. And then he told him, I know you think you're cured from the racism and everybody else, but you're not. You can't give me what I was born with. Now, you can keep me from it. Now, this is when y'all go to school, get an education. Do you understand that common sense isn't so common, and the people that go to school really don't have no damn common sense? And here go a slave, an ex-slave, was basically explaining and breaking down to the educated about nature, life, and reality.
But you can't give it to me, because I'm born with it just like you was. My God, it had a profound effect on me. I was furious with him. But the more I reflect on it, the more profoundly it affected.
Notice what he just said. Now, this is the guy himself being interviewed. He said, I was furious with him. Like, you gonna tell me this? He was mad. He was upset. So the statement from the brother telling him, you're not cured. And then that now, if you listen to the arguments of today of black man saying, no man, these white people, because they don't really understand something that's innate in them, and are they willing to go to war with themselves? Now, if you notice, and a lot of us say the war starts with ourselves, and a lot of us in the conscious community, or the active, what I like to call the active community, we understand that the war starts with ourselves.
I realized this was where it really was.
All right, I'm going to stop there with that. And you can go look that up. It says ex-slaves talk about slavery in the United States. That was that video. Let me go to the next video. So now this video is the Hatman program. Now look. Now this is, let me see, when was this posted? This video was posted 2015. Okay, so the importance of this video is that this is starting to happen more amongst the white race. And we got to understand that we are now, in the information age. And then when you start to realize that growing up, you think that, whites are the smartest, whites are the greatest, and if you didn't think that, then that means you wasn't watching television like I was watching television. They had all the heroes. They was, not only was they the jokiest, funny, it was on TV the most. When coming up in WWF, we had Zeus. But even though we had Zeus, and we liked it, Zeus, but Hulk Hogan was still the man. You feel me? So here we go. And not only that, even Macho Man Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior, still the exalted above Zeus. Zeus was just like, yeah, here go one. All right. But listen to what he says, right? And now this is white people talking to white people. So we about to look at race in this motherfucker, man. And you can't understand the United States. I'm getting to this because you cannot understand the United States politics unless you dive deep into race. You got to really go deep in it. Check it.
Ryan Cooper has a really interesting piece over.
And I got to go look at Ryan Cooper. I don't know who that is.
At theweek.com. You'll recall back, I think it was Tuesday this week, I was talking about how middle-aged, middle-class white men are committing suicide and dying from alcoholism and drug addiction.
Now, let me stop right there. How many white men do you know committing suicide? Because this is a whole nother video. How many white men do you know committing suicide by hanging themselves? Right? A lot of them commit suicide. If you go look up the stats, they were like 64% of gun violence is suicide, and it's white males. But it's with guns. Then you go to Chicago, black men killing each other with guns, gun violence. California, gun violence. Everywhere you go, black people, gun violence. Where in the hell do black folks like, you know what, I'm gonna kill myself. Instead of using a gun I'm gonna kill other black people with, I'm gonna go to Home Depot and get me a rope. Black folks just don't kill themselves with ropes, but when it comes to black people getting hung, suicide, even if they 20 foot in the air and their hands are tied, it's suicide. This is what they're doing. And this right now, when it comes to investigating, is going to lead us to investigate strongly, wholly by ourselves. And it's pretty much pulling us back onto ourselves, and we're going to take the power from ourselves. And these are the things that we're going to have to start forcing that funding from the United States to pay our society, that within this society with tax money and government money, because that's pretty much where this thing is going, that we're going to start doing this thing ourselves because we're not getting a fair shake.
At a rate that is causing the death rate for the entire cohort of white men from roughly 35 to 60, or 35 to 54, as I recall was the age range, is causing their death rate to go up in ways that we haven't seen since the collapse in any demographic like that since the collapse of the Soviet Union. If for a couple of years there after the collapse of the Soviet Union, similarly, you saw men dying like this for this reason, and it was, you know, because of economic
I'm gonna have to go study that.
uncertainty. But Ryan,
Because of economic uncertainty.
you know,
But we're innately criminals.
and the thing that I had missed in my analysis of this, you know, I talked about racism. I talked about how, you know, my dad.
Okay, throw it away and we're about to leave. Okay, notice he said, the thing that I have missed, and a lot of white people miss this particular thing.
They had that white middle class dream. You know, when he came back from World War II, getting a job in a tool and die shop and getting a home in a suburb with the GI Bill and all these things that most African Americans were blocked from in the 50s. And my point was, we need to be sure if we're going to put this economy back together, if we're going to change our trade policies, if we're going to bring our factories home, if we're going to put our cities back to work, that we do so in a way that's colorblind, that or, you know, to the extent it can be, that is all inclusive. Because by and large, the middle class boom in the 50s, I mean, we were a legally segregated society at that time. That boom was largely confined to white men about the age who are committing suicide now. And they're committing suicide because that future that they thought they had, that they grew up with, you know, looking back on their parents, they don't have it. But Brian Cooper says poor white Americans are dying of despair and racism is to blame.
And racism is to blame. The very same thing that is coming back to bite you in the ass. This shit is crazy, and we've been telling him this. And he admit that blacks been telling him this, but we gonna give it all out. Well, you know, black people been saying this for the longest. Watch this though.
And you know, I thought this was fascinating. He says, well, basically, that, you know, poverty isn't. He says American poverty is increasingly brutal. Male wages in the bottom fifth of the income ladder, for instance, have fallen by over 30% since the late 60s, and inequality has exploded. These days, those in the top 1% capture virtually all economic growth. I mean, if you've ever listened to Bernie Sanders, you know that.
Now, when he's talking about the top of the 1%, now we're entering the stage of major unrest. And this isn't because of black, Mexican, and immigrants. This is white males. White males is going to turn this motherfucker up, man.
To be the case. But then it gets really interesting. He says, now, the reason that, so, okay, you've got that, and you've got all these white, you know, quote, middle-class men.
A little bit more.
Middle-aged, middle-class men who, you know, in a previous generation, right now at this point in their lives, would have been making, you know, in today's dollars, $30,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, factory jobs. And now they're laid off, they don't have a job, and the social safety net in America is not strong enough to catch them.
Why?
Right? Unemployment has been limited, refused to extend long-term federal unemployment. It still has, you know, it's welfare is only available for a maximum of 5 years. We are, 6 or 7 years into that the reason why.
Here we go.
During the Clinton administration, they cut back on welfare. During the Reagan administration, they cut back on housing. And
watch this. Watch how the racism come into play.
During, you know, it just basically through this whole thing, is that and why universities have become more expensive.
Come on.
Disability insurance, on no child allowance, no paid vacation, stuff like that. The reason all that stuff has gone away is because historically, the white people who are the majority of the voters voted against it because they believed, this is going back to Reagan's welfare queen thing, they believed that these welfare benefits were going to black people.
All right, let's stop there. So, now, hold on. Now, I was going to go with the NRA, but before I go there, I want to go to this one. We're going to go to NRA first, next. But I want to go to this. Listen to what she says.
The numbers here, 45 million people are enrolled in this food stamp program. It is 14% of all Americans. Millions signed up during the worst recession since the Great Depression. Now, beyond the numbers here, describe for us who are the people who need food stamps, who are...
Bam! Let's stop it right there. Right? First highest, white. Second is black, Hispanics, and others, right? So, at 49%, food stamp recipients, whites, is damn near 50% of the pie. But black people get the trophy. That is crazy. It always been like that. It always been like that, but it is just, no. It wasn't. See, the thing is, with white America, is the little bit black people do get is, how did you get that? No, I'm over here doing bad. We gonna take it from them niggers. Why do they even got that? We should have that. So it's like, we don't want you with nothing. With nothing. Even though you got more than what I'm getting, we still don't want you with nothing.
on food stamps? Has that profile changed?
Well, I think, frankly, the stereotype exists that it is a person who is unwilling to work, or perhaps a homeless individual. But from our work, helping sign clients up for the program, we found that most of the clients are working families. A lot of them are people who've lost their job in the recession.
I want to show y'all that this was a white man that's saying this, because a black man could tell y'all the same thing. That's just like what's the old boy name? Damn, what's the white dude name that be doing all that social justice talking? I forgot his name right now, but and he'll tell you, the white dude will tell you, now all this information I'm giving you, I got it from black people, and he'll tell you that. All right, so we understand that now. Whites are getting most of the benefits. Now let's go to the, and then this is go also. Well, if you look at this is the seeker.
In 2012 found
Why
most
white
gun
man?
violence victims are the same ones who pulled the trigger.
Trigger.
Almost 2/3 of all gun deaths in the United States are from suicides, according to this study in the Annual Review of Public Health. And of those, most of them are white males.
So white man is pushing suicides. You hear about this everywhere. Not to mention with the opioid epidemic. I would have pulled up some of those videos so y'all can see them, and just putting out a platform of things for you to go out there and start to check. And when you start mixing all this together, you understand that you got basically a powder keg. Now look, now when this was happening, I really just want you to. I'm not gonna go through the actual video, and everybody pretty much understand the Black Panthers and white people got this thing about the Black Panthers going around hating white people, right? But if you notice, there's a gun there, there's a gun here. So the blacks are there with the guns. The white guy here, none of them seem affected and feel threatened by this black guy with the gun, because the black people wasn't out, the Black Panthers wasn't out there attacking white people. They was mad and upset at the police for the brutality in the community. And that's why they formed, because of police brutality. So you got them forming because of police brutality, and that's crazy that was happening back then. And now we got the same police brutality now, but this is where it's going to come in different at. So in California, changed their gun laws. So you got the Panthers went and studied the law so they won't break the law, and was following the law to the T, and they changed the laws so they could make them criminals. Now, Stormtrooper, this is a Cal DOJ Stormtrooper confiscate gun from law-abiding citizen. This is from the gun guy. You know, and you start looking up the information and what's going on with the gun confiscations.
When the officers showed up at his door.
But that was for the 80%. So I have a question, because I've read and I've talked to many people that the 80% lowered pistols.
But these are all
one guy will.
These are all opinions.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be settled. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer.
Is there any way?
I'm not a judge, I'm not a lawyer, but in order for you to be able to enforce that law, you should know the law that you're enforcing. And this is the thing about the police officers right now, that the citizens are smarter than them and taking their time out to know the law. So when you got a citizen saying, look, you're breaking the law, hey, you got to go to court and do that. It don't matter. Shut up. Listen, comply. Comply with what? You're breaking the law. You're law enforcement. So you got white males killing each other, white males not having a piece of the pie, you got white males getting their guns confiscated, and then you got them blaming black people. Now it's all on the internet that black people aren't to blame. You got white folks saying, no, it's not the black people. So hold up. You got white people saying it's not the black people. Then you got more you got other whites in the statistics coming out because of this, homie. When you think this shit go up, where's it gonna go up? Whites versus black. Everybody think it's gonna be this black-white versus race war. The race war is actually happening now, and then even the blacks are knowing that it's not the motherfucking skinhead or FU niggers, the ones that's out there doing it. We know that they can't change it. We understand who it is. It's just that the whites, those alt-right, haven't really fully understand who it is yet. When they come into full focus who it is, man, homie, you got a powder keg that is about to blow up, homie. Look, check this, black people. Y'all might want to go get guns. Let me tell you why to go get guns. And to keep it 100, the people that you shoot most likely will be black, because of in an economic collapse when people start to feed off their neighbors. But I'm gonna say go get guns, but more than guns, make sure you have ways to store water, and also have food storage. And the gun's really going to be protecting your food storage and your water storage in order for you to be able to survive, because you're gonna need, at the rate that this thing is going, you're gonna need, at first it was like 3 days, you're gonna need about 2 weeks. You're going to have to be able to stay in your home for about 2 weeks. And then you have to make preparations of getting rid of fecal matter and getting rid of and staying warm. Within those 2 weeks, you don't know when those 2 weeks are going to be. It could be in the winter. And if it is in the winter, you got to be prepared to start to move your family all into one room, or even to go into a room and build a room within a room to make a room smaller that the family could go in. And when you get into this room, or even put tents, move stuff out of your living room, put a tent in that living room. That may be the cheapest way to put a big ass tent in the living room, cover that motherfucker up with tarps, so that when your family get in here to go to sleep, that you will be able to stay warm in the winter nights. This is what's going on right now, and this is where we're moving as a nation. There's nobody that's going to come and help us. There's not many resources here in the United States, so we have to start preparing. You got to get a whole different mindset. All that bling bling and gang shit motherfuckers out here doing, you better get on your brain shit. On the real, check me out on Intellectuals EOT. I'm gonna go ahead and cut. I got some things to go do, some moves to go make. But check out all that I was just talking about. Check out the home team. Oh look, and before I go, I want y'all to check this guy out. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is it. I want to bring up his title first, right here. Go check him out on the forecast. The police brutality in this country is unprecedented. Go check out his channel. His commentary way better than mine. You feel me? So I'm really here just to direct you in a different way. Check out the forecast. Add the forecast, subscribe, like, share, all that. The forecast. Y'all stay safe. Power to the people.